Hey, what's up, Lightbolt Joe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2016 comedy horror action adventure thriller film Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. This is based off of a book, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is in turn based off of a book, Pride and Prejudice, written by Jane Austen, the classic that it is. Never read it. Never saw the 2005 film with what's her face, Keira Knightley. Never saw it. I kind of know the gist of it. But like having a zombie version of a classic literature book is very interesting. I never thought of it, but it's so cool. So Lily James is in this. Sam Riley is in this. Lena Headey plays Lady Catherine in this. So well done. It's like what, hour 50, hour 48 minutes, something like that. It got panned by critics. It didn't do well at the box office, but this was so well done, and I never saw it. I've owned it for years. I just never watched it, and I love that 19th century aesthetic, throwing in that 1800s bit. But this is an alt history, so you get a whole spiel, a 5-minute spiel in the beginning of this film, why they are zombies running through 1800s, running worldwide pandemic of the 1800s. Not just England. And they believe that this plague was picked up from the French, because you could just blame the French, of course, during the trade, the different ship trading that was going on in the 1700s. So it was very interesting having that be a part of that, because the French Revolution obviously wasn't a thing within real history, and then wars after that within the 1800s wasn't a thing, because the worldwide pandemic of zombies coming back and, killing people, that was the main focal point. So these aristocrats in England were sending, the rich were sending their kids to Japan to train, the wise were sending their kids to China to train, and then they all came back. So this film has Chinese, it's in Japanese, people are speaking, but also it's English. So you got 3 different languages going on, which is very entertaining, being a multicultural film, all to fight the zombie horde. So with, Mr. Darcy and Miss Bennet going about their back and forth, will they, won't they, it's thrown into the mix of they're both highly trained, sophisticated assassins, basically, and can take out armies of the undead. But it's a matter of why these zombies now changing. Why are they conscious? Are they fully undead if they eat pig brain, not human brain? What's the concept? So Darcy's, old friend is leading the zombie horde, basically, and tricking and trading, but he's fully conscious and he's half dead. He's not fully dead because he hasn't technically taken human. He is leading the undead, the half-humans, to go through, their conquering of London. London is falling, they're taking over the houses, they're taking over Parliament. How are these zombies becoming conscious? They're not just mindless eating machines, they're actually conscious. Very cool. There's so much comedy to it, but there's a lot of action to it. All the main sisters are doing their own stunts, which is really cool. Rooney Mara, I think, was in this. No. Rooney Mara? No, Rooney Mara's not in this. Who am I thinking of? Somebody else. A lot of people are in this, but it was fast. It didn't drag at all. It was a nice zombie take on a plague, versus the plague that we are still currently living in, which is not a zombie plague, but it's still a plague. And so it's a good spin on alt history that we all know. So not all of us, most of us know. So it was captivating. That's the best word for it. I was never bored watching this. I thoroughly enjoyed the action. I thoroughly enjoyed the horror. But it's a romance film because it's Pride and Prejudice. So it's just so entertaining watching this, in a sense. It's hard not to compare anything to Bridgerton now, just because of how successful Bridgerton is and how amazing of an aesthetic Bridgerton is. And obviously this 2016 film came out way before Bridgerton ever did. But seeing Bridgerton the most in that aesthetic, it's nice seeing something else in that aesthetic, if that makes any sense. Granted, Muppet Christmas Carol is that aesthetic because it's Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which is that aesthetic. I like that aesthetic, that 1800s aesthetic, that 1800s London aesthetic. It's good. It's a good aesthetic. That's the best word for it. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.